How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to the United States of America. I'm so sorry that we are just developing over here in a lot of ways.
It's okay.
I wanted to ask you about the first grader. I have seen the movie probably 8 times now, and our blog, Stones of the Color of Rare, we look for opportunities to interview people of status, someone that's notable and brings something to our community. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is the part of Maruge, Mr. Maruge, where you are working with the children.
Yes.
I thought it was beautiful that as a person that has gone through that kind of abuse by the British, that he was still that open as a child. You know, like a child, very humble, willing to sit around those small children. So how did it feel with you doing that kind of part?
Well, the children were wonderful in the role that they played. I love children, naturally. I love children, and I love working with kids. Even if I'm not working with them, I love their company. So the kids brought the character that you saw in me in that particular scene.
Right.
Having joined a school that was mostly for young children, 6-7 years old, I had to kind of lower myself and identify with them. I had to behave the way they behaved. I had to learn the mannerisms, the way they talk. So in that particular scene, they brought a warmth.
To your spirit.
I remembered my child or my children when I was a young man who had been murdered and killed by the British, and I could see these children in these kids that I was playing with. So that's how that character, that particular scene of Maruge came out.
Now, do you have children yourself?
Yes, I do.
So you were very familiar. Are they the ages of those children?
They are older, but the last one is just a bit older than them. But I have had children, I have seen them grow, and I have walked with them. So the kids that I played with sort of were identical to my own children as they grew up, and that's how I did.
Okay. Now, the younger Maruge, the young guy that played, I think his name is David Chege.
Yes.
Is the guy that played your part, the younger you on the movie. The younger you on the movie.
Yes.
That part, how was that for you? How was that for you?
The younger Maruge brought my youth in the character. He was in the character what I was as a young man. Energetic, eager to fight the British and get our freedom. And so young Maruge played the role very well and inspired my role as an older Maruge. The qualities that I was having at that time as a young man was still in me. But they came out as an older Maruge through the younger Maruge. The energetic young Maruge, determined and unyielding and compromising. Yes.
Well, what was interesting is that you were able to keep the intensity of the role of the adult Maruge and the young Maruge. You were able to keep the intensity of the emotional intensity of both roles. Remember the scene where he gets the pencil stuck in his ear by the British?
Yes.
I don't know how an actor could do that. I mean, it's like really, in some parts of the movie were difficult for me as a person to watch. Especially when they threw them in the room and they had them naked and you saw the water. And I know people in some of those countries, and I know that can be very, very hard. What was it like? Were you on the set at the time they were screaming, they were shooting that part as well of the young Maruge in that situation?
Those scenes were real. That's what happened in Kenya during the struggle for freedom, the struggle to drive the British out. But they wanted to stay. So they did everything to discourage the young Kenyans to fight for their freedom. So those scenes that you saw, the pencil and the torture and the cold water and the whipping, those things happened. Now, in the younger Maruge, you can see those things happening. In the older Maruge, you can see his sensitivity bringing out in his mind what happened when he was young. And it gave the older Maruge that insensitivity, that cruelty that he underwent under the British. And that's how my character came out. Seeing what was happening, having experienced that as a young man, now recalling those things. I want to go to school. They're still stopping me the way they used to stop me before we got free. It just gave me that, you know,
that grit and grind.
Yes. Why am I being tortured? Even to my old age, I'm still being tortured.
Yeah, and I thought the scene of you going into the so-called adult school.
Yes.
And the way you were looking at it, and the guy was standing outside, and they were smoking and throwing things around, and you were like, okay, this is the adult school. You know what I mean?
It was.
So how was the transition from going to the adult school and back to the children, to me, who acted more mature than the actual adults?
Yes, exactly. You know, going to adult school was just the bottommost. It was relegating me to the end of my quest to become educated. Sending me to an adult school where you find people smoking, people just doing their thing, means that you are telling me that is where you belong. I didn't belong there. I couldn't belong there. I abhorred that school. That's why in one of my dialogue I said, let that man who wants me to go to adult school himself go to adult school. So that even made me hate the authority even more after that school.
I don't know how you did it. The transition from actually, because you have to feel those things in order to do that real character. So the part of, you know, especially after when you started to cry, and you know, how you really remember that they had killed your own family.
Those scenes were very emotional to me. In fact, when we did one of the crying scenes, the director said, good. It was maybe the second take or third take. That was good. To me, I told him, no, I want to do it again. I didn't do it properly.
And you wanted to really cry?
Okay. I said, no, I didn't bring the emotion the way I wanted. And you saw my tear come out.
I did.
That tear was real.
Real tear.
It was not like a lemonade had been put into my eye to cry. No, it just came out of my ear naturally because of that intense hate, intense, you know, feeling that these people
that you felt like
are doing this to me now the way they did to me when I was a young man.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing is that I thought it was kind of sexy, actually, when you were in the classroom and they were like, M-O-N-T, X-Y-Z-A-Z-E, X-Y-Z-A-Z-E. I was like, oh my gosh. And then, you know, you were in the yard, and the little boy was doing his body. So cute. So what did you? I just thought it was interesting that all of you had you had the same sense of rhythm as those kids. Because they were showing off when they were standing wiggling.
They were showing off. And you know, you remember even outside when they pick on me. Now Maruge. I want to see, is he real like us?
All right. And you had them in the yard, they were started dancing.
Exactly. And in the classroom, when the teacher now said, Maruge is going to be my assistant, I had to bring them, you know, to kind of accept me as their teacher now. So I had to play the game of love me and I love you and you like me and I like you and let us make this thing again. And which I enjoyed.
It was really, I thought it was the cutest thing that their sense of rhythm. And you're able to fit right in. I'm like, now he's supposed to be 80-something years old. And he up here partying like the I thought it was really cute. The other thing I wanted to ask you, just because I know someone else is waiting to talk to you, is I want to ask you, what are your thoughts about adult schools versus primary schools as it stands in modern day Kenya? What is the difference? Is there a huge difference? Are there funds or something metered out to children's schools that there aren't to adult schools?
Adult schools are usually joined in. Adult grown-ups go to school for adults after they have reached a certain age. Maybe they miss to go to primary schools or junior schools or lower high schools. And when they realize they need an education, the government has set up institutions or schools for adults only. And they can only attend after a certain time when they have been working on their farms or when they have been working in their homes. Then they can go to the adult school from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They can be there until about 7 o'clock. Now the kids of the age of the kids who are playing these parts in my film, they go to school when they are at the age of 6.
Okay.
That's
like
when
here.
they start first grade at the age of 6. Then they continue until they're about 14 years. That's when they leave that grade school,
right.
And now they join high school.
Right.
So there are two different stages of schools for adults and for the younger people. Now, Maruge's story has inspired so many adults, and today so many older people are going to school.
Don't you love
He
that?
has become an inspiration to them. He has inspired those who had even feared to go to school because of their ages. And now they are readily accepting to go to school, and they don't look at it as something shameful, which is a very nice thing that Maruge has really done for the country, for Kenya.
Now, what about, the final question I want to ask you is your transition from an announcer. You were a reader or something, you said, on the movie credits, not the movie credits, but on the synopsis.
Yes.
That they do the movie, and they said that you were a reader or something for a
Well, I
local
was an anchor,
newspaper. News anchor.
I worked for several national television stations in Kenya. In fact, 3 of them. Yes, you wanted to ask me something?
No, I wanted to ask you the transition you made from being that person to an actor now, because, I mean, you know, most actors would say, I start my career at 12.
Yes,
You know, and the fact that, I mean, you're inspiring every person over 12 years old right now to have an acting career.
Let me tell you,
Or that it's never too late to do anything you want to do, I would say.
I developed my interest in acting when I was in this country. I went to school here. I got my undergraduate degree here. Then I had a chance to go to Harvard University.
Oh, wow.
For drama. I went to the Harvard Globe Drama Center, and this is where I really discovered my talent for acting.
Right.
I even directed a play at Harvard where The Cross is made by Eugene O'Neill, who is an American playwright. And that is where my interest in acting developed. So when I went back to Kenya, I had done mass communication, broadcasting, journalism, and all that. But when I went back, started working as a broadcaster and an anchorman, American producers used to come to Kenya to make big films, international films.
Right.
They would want Kenyan actors. So even though I was working as a broadcaster, I would go and audition. And I would get parts.
Oh, wow.
Not big parts,
But
supporting parts. I acted with people like Sidney Poitier in the film called The Wilby Conspiracy.
That's what you remind me of, Cindy Poitier.
Thank
That
you.
same elegance and that same sophistication that we don't have over here. I don't see it.
And Michael Caine, the British actor.
I like Michael Caine.
I've acted with Brian Dennehy in The Lion of Africa.
Yeah.
I've acted with Tanya Roberts in Sheena, Queen of the Jungle in Kenya. I've acted with John Lithgow, James Earl Jones in The Ivory Hunters, which was also produced in Kenya. So this is how I started to get my inspiration for acting in films. Those people became my role models as actors.
Yeah.
Sydney was just wonderful when I acted.
Do you know? You personally know him?
Yes, I know him.
I'm sure you would.
I know him. We have taken pictures with him in Kenya, and I'm looking forward to a chance of going to show him a picture we took together in 1977 when he was young, to go and show him. I hope I have that chance.
You will just contact his
So,
if you need to know, I'll give you information. Okay.
So my interest and love for acting was inspired by people that I have named, by these actors from here who are playing roles in productions that producers in Hollywood were coming to shoot in Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just think I find you very inspiring. I'm so happy that you let Ankh Entertainment, Stones in the Color of Rare, interview you.
Well,
I'm spreading the word. I've seen The First Grader 8 times, now 9 times today. And the music is riveting, the acting is riveting. I am at a loss of words to understand why it isn't in an Oscar position.
I'm hoping that more Americans will see this movie, because I think it is a movie worth seeing. It's for everybody. It's not for Africa, it's not for America, it's not for Europe. This is a theme about education. Education being a vehicle for development, a vehicle for knowing, a vehicle for discovering things, whether it is in Africa, whether it is in Europe or America. Education is for all.
Yes.
Education for whether you are a child or an older person or an old man. If you have a chance to get an education, it is an opener to whatever you may want to do. So I just hope that this film can be seen by as many people as it can reach. And I'm just so humbled to know that it has been received so well at this venue where we are, and I'm so humbled that I got to be recognized by the NAACP as a nominee for the best actor.
Yes.
I'm so humbled to know that even AARP can consider me and give me an award as a best actor. I was flabbergasted, as it were, to be with people like Meryl Streep, with
I know who you mean.
Who? Sharon. Yeah, you know. And we sat together. They were sitting there, we were sitting here. They walked and went and received the awards on the same podium that I was. They had a standing ovation. People who are royalties in Hollywood.
Yes.
And I had a standing ovation.
Yes.
An unknown person in Hollywood. And that just, I can't go over that. I can't get over it. I'm just so flabbergasted.
Well, they should be honored and be honored to be in your presence.
Yeah, I was honored, first of all, to be in their presence, to meet them, and to share a platform with them. And I hope that this film reaches as many people as possible, because it has got a message, if not messages, for us.
And it has a message for everyone that I think is a world international message, that you're never too old to learn. You're never too old.
Exactly.
You're just learning is an independent experience that each person can understand and accept.
You captured it.
Okay.
You are never too old to learn.
Never too old to learn.
We learn even
Every
after
day.
we have learned. We learn even with our 10 PhDs. We are still learning.
That's right.
We're still learning. Life is a learning experience.
It is.
So you're never too old to learn.
Well, it has been my honor and my pleasure, and thank you for doing an interview for Ankh Entertainment Production and Stones in the color of rare.